Welcome to Clippers Live, presented by CarMax on FanDuel Sports Network, and welcome to Atlanta, the second stop on the Clippers road trip and their second and final meeting with the Hawks this season. Tonight on Clippers Live, Kawhi Leonard came back, and he came back with a vengeance. 3 consecutive 30-plus point performances. He's looking like vintage Kawhi. How might he propel the Clippers to victory here tonight in Atlanta? Chris Dunn, one of a few Clippers returning to face their former team. Bogdan Bogdanović, John Collins, Ty Lue, assistant coach Larry Drew, all former Hawks. And on the Hawks side, they made some changes in the offseason, among them the addition of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. We'll take a closer look at the Hawks and their roster with a very special guest. Welcome into Atlanta. Lauren Rosen here with Jim Jackson. Jim, always a pleasure to be here.
You forgot something. You named people former Hawks. I mean, Jim, 1 of 12. You know what I mean?
Forget.
Just don't discount me a little bit.
I always forget how sensitive you are, Jim. You okay?
I'm good.
Can we proceed?
I'm good.
Thank
you.
Hawks legend Jim Jackson.
Not even close. Not even close.
Jim, right off the top, let's get into the news that sort of has circulated around the NBA today. Yep. The Clippers, of course, super delayed on the tarmac yesterday. They get into Atlanta much later than expected by about 6 hours, and then wake up to the news that the team is parting ways with Chris Paul. Your reaction to that news?
It's unfortunate because this has been a season at the beginning that no one thought we would have. It's an unfortunate situation because you have a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, not ending the career the way you wanted, especially with the Clippers, but you had an organization that felt they had to make a decision. Now, I would caution people and the fans always do this. It's 2 stories to each side. You got to understand what happens. There's a lot of talk. Allow things to kind of work and circulate itself out before you start to make these rash decisions, because we don't know what the conversation was in that room on either side to really make a sound decision. So it's unfortunate, but it happened. What's more important now, the Clippers figure out ways to win some basketball games.
Worth noting, Lawrence Frank and Ty Lue both effusive in their praise of Chris Paul, what he means to the Clippers organization and the NBA as a whole. Lawrence this morning mentioning that this isn't an opportunity to scapegoat Chris or anyone for the Clippers' slow start, rather a move that's happening parallel to some changes he's hoping to see out on the floor. And Lawrence Frank spoke to reporters this morning at length about the decision. So let's take a little bit of a listen here.
Essentially, it wasn't the working out the way that I had planned, we had planned. And it's unfortunate. You don't take decisions like this lightly at all, especially, a guy that's meant so much to the league and so much to our organization. But just felt it was the right decision to make. And unfortunately, it was a really, really hard decision to make, but I think the right one for the team and organization.
It just didn't work out like we thought it would, and like I said, I don't like it for CP, but it just wasn't a good fit, and we understood that. And so, like I said, it was an organization, they made the choice, and so moving forward, we got to see what we do.
And Jim, you've been in the NBA for a long time. Changes like these, days like these, sometimes they can catalyze good things on the floor.
Well, they can. And, keep in mind, and I think Ty Lue and also Lawrence Frank said it, what's happened to this season, 5 and 16, there's not point and figure at Chris Paul.
Correct.
I mean, there's been injuries, there's been inconsistencies, there's been a lot of different things as to why the Clippers are in the situation they are right now. So I've seen a lot of things happen. I think the nuance here is because it happened in the morning at 2 a.m. He sends out this tweet, and you see trades all the time, okay? But I think it's the optics of how things look as to why the reaction from in and out the league is where it's at now.
Well, and that, by the way, was why I mentioned the flight delay, not to garner any pity. Obviously, traveling in the NBA, we're so privileged. We get to sort of do our own thing, and it's always quick and it's always easy until it's not. And the Clippers yesterday delayed for 6 hours. They had every intention of being in Atlanta by 5 or 6 p.m. Lawrence this morning discussed the fact that was probably around when he intended to have that meeting. So no one was intending to be up at 3 a.m.
No, it just happened.
And it made it all much more theatrical and probably much more difficult to deal with.
Well, but and you know this, Lauren, too, in life, too. We can have ideas on how we think things are going to work based on the acknowledgments of a great player like Chris Paul to say, hey, we can bring Chris in on the back end. He can be a voice in the locker room. He can be a leader. He can be a facilitator at times when James is not on the court. Let's figure it out. Does it work? Chris bought into it. Said, yes, I can assume this certain kind of role, and I'm comfortable with it. Now, once you begin to execute it, it may be some things where the two sides have different opinions. That happens. It's just unfortunate that it happened to a guy like Chris Paul, who's, probably the best Clipper of all time, and how it happened. But as much as we want to put on paper, like we're in Hollywood, we can write a script and this is how it's perfectly going to end. The league doesn't work like that. And unfortunately, it got to this situation. I just wish the best for both sides. For Chris, that he can finish out his retirement year the way he wants. And for us at the Clippers to go out and start to win some basketball games.
Well said, Jim Jackson. And of course, wishing Chris all the best. And as we shift our focus to tonight's game here in Atlanta, Kawhi Leonard has been on a pretty significant tear over these last few games. Jim, what have you seen from him as he's laced together these 30 balls night after night?
Everything. I mean, it's nothing that Kawhi hasn't been able to do on the basketball court. And it's not just scoring points. It's getting back to scoring how we're accustomed to seeing Kawhi score, which is get to the basket, finish above the rim, get to his spot and his pull up, catch and shoot. But also having the impact, Lauren, on the defensive end, because a lot of times it's great for a guy and it's easy for a guy to get back in rhythm offensively and have that as a staple point. But to see Kawhi kind of giving the extra effort, being an influence on the defensive end really stands out to me more than anything.
And Jim, as the Clippers get ready to face an Atlanta Hawks team that will be more shorthanded perhaps than expected, no Jalen Johnson tonight, what do you hope to see from them in this one?
What Ty Lee talked about, playing hard, consistent. We always say play hard for 48 minutes, okay? That's kind of, everybody's not playing 48 minutes. But are you playing hard consistently your minutes that you're on the court collectively as a group? And when you do that, you give yourself a chance to win, in particular when you're on the road.
A real special treat after the break. One of the best to ever do it, Dominique Wilkins, is going to join the show. He's going to teach us everything we need to know about this Atlanta Hawks roster as we approach tip-off here in ATL. And welcome back to Clippers Live, presented by CarMax on FanDuel Sports Network. The Clippers getting ready to go here in Atlanta. They've been very clear about the areas in which they can improve. And moments ago, Ty Lue discussed Kawhi Leonard's return and what his increasing minutes can mean for this team.
A healthy Kawhi, more minutes. I mean, it's great for us. We see when he's on the floor, with his productivity, where we are offensively, defensively, we're a lot better, and so just have him be able to play real minutes, consistent minutes is better for us. And so we just got to, continue to grow, continue to keep getting better. But with his minutes, starting to go up, trend up, we are a much better team.
Clippers getting healthier as the days go by. Ivica Zubac has been a huge part of this team now for many years. When we come back, Brian Seaman joins the show as we approach tip-off here in Atlanta. Don't go anywhere. We'll all be right back.